Hi, this is Jackie's Reading Room, and I'm your host, Jackie P. Have you turned some pages today? If you've listened to a few episodes of Jackie's Reading Room so far, you know by now that I love going down the aisles of bookstores and libraries on a regular basis. To me, it's, I don't know, it's a source of great joy and great comfort. But I also love to go through my own bookshelves. I don't know if that sounds bizarre, but I do. And I do this either to look for a book I want to show my students, or maybe I want to lend one to a friend, or I want to remember, do I have that book I thought I did? And I want to look it up. There's different reasons, but I also sometimes go through and I think to myself, well, maybe you should clean up a bit because there are quite a few there. Well, in today's episode, which is episode number 20, I'll focus on two books from my own personal collection. One book that I read and loved, and one that I've had for some time and want to read very soon, like many others. The beauty of this is that I will never lack for books to read. Never. This cannot happen in my life. I think recently my daughter said, my friend doesn't have anything to read anymore. And I thought, I don't think I could ever say this. So I immediately said, that she can come and borrow books at our house. Okay, so back to my bookshelves. Book number 1 for today is called The Night Circus. It was first published in 2011, and it was written by Erin Morgenstern. It's her debut novel, and the Newsday review goes like this: reading this novel is like having a marvelous dream in which you are asleep enough to believe everything that is happening, but awake enough to relish the experience and understand that it is magical. It is a magical book. Let me read a little excerpt for you because I just loved this book. Okay, so I am on page 308. We have been playing at this for more than a decade. When does it end? It ends when there is a victor. And how long does that take? Marco asks. It is difficult to say. The most recent previous challenge lasted 37 years. We cannot keep this circus running for 37 years. Then you will not have as long a time to wait. You were a fine student. You are a fine competitor. How can you know? Marco asks, his voice rising. You have not even seen fit to speak to me for years. I have done nothing for you. Everything I have done, every change I have made to that circus, every impossible feat and astounding sight, I have done for her. Your motives do not impact the game. I am done with playing your game, Marco says. I quit. You cannot quit, his instructor replies. You are bound to this, to her. The challenge will continue. One of you will lose. You have no choice in the matter. I'm skipping a little bit forward to page 309. He goes directly to the ballroom, making his way to the center of the dance floor. He takes Celia's arm, spinning her away from Herr Thiessen. Marco pulls her to him in an emerald embrace, so close that no distinction remains between where his suit ends and her gown begins. To Celia, there's suddenly no one else in the room as he holds her in his arms. But before she can vocalize her surprise, his lips close over hers and she is lost in wordless bliss. Marco kisses her as though they are the only two people in the world. The air swirls in a tempest around them, blowing open the glass doors to the garden with a tangle of billowing curtains. Every eye in the crowded ballroom turns in their direction. And then he releases her and walks away. By the time Marco leaves the room, almost everyone has forgotten the incident entirely. It is replaced by a momentary confusion that is blamed on the heat or the excessive amounts of champagne. Wasn't that something? So, as I reread these pages, I remember how I was swept into this magical world of the circus, in which two young magicians, so Celia and Marco, that you we're able to hear from in that excerpt, must compete, and of course how they fall in love. And it's a doomed or impossible love story. And I am, yes, a hopeless romantic. I love a doomed love story when it's difficult, and then in the end, something happens. Either they get together or they don't. I'm going to leave this hanging. Why did I love this book? Well, the story itself, it takes place, you see here, if I open it, it starts in 1873 in New York, but it travels to London. And if I go towards the end, we are in New York again, 1902. So part historical fiction, but also fantasy. And there is, a beautiful love story in there. So those characters of Celia and Marco, but they are surrounded by a whole cast of characters from the circus. I was swept away in this beautiful story. The language is magnificent. And I believe it was in 2012 that I had my students read this book. It's a bit long, right? So for this was for advanced students, but it's 512 pages. So I realized today that it's quite a substantial read. But one of the things I love doing with this book was I compared it with the movie The Prestige with Christian Bale and what's his name? I forget. Australian actor. It really worked together. So if you wanted to do that yourself, pick up a copy of The Night Circus at your local bookstore, or maybe at your library, and then watch The Prestige. You'll see that there are links. It is another kind of competition between two magicians. Hugh Jackman, I remember, the actor, playing with Christian Bale in The Prestige. So this would be something that I think you would like. Erin Morgenstern, the author, she is a writer and multimedia artist. She lives in Massachusetts. She was 32 only when the Night Circus was sold. So, I mean, I think it's quite a feat. Her second novel is called The Starless Sea. It came out in the UK, US, and Canada in 2019. And I saw that it won the 2020 Dragon Award for Best Fantasy Novel, which I did not know. I think that's pretty amazing. And I read that book 3 is in the works. Now, both The Night Circus and The Starless Sea are going to get new paperback editions in the UK. So if you are listening from overseas, in a few days, as I'm talking to you now, this is late October 2022. So in the next few days, you'll see brand new paperback editions with some extra content. So that's very exciting. Makes me want to hop on a plane and go and get those copies myself. The second book I'd like to talk to you about today is called Homegoing. It was published in 2016 by Ya Gyasi. She was born in Ghana, but raised in Huntsville, Alabama. She has a BA in English from Stanford, an MFA from the Iowa Writers Workshop. So clearly she has a mastery of the English language. This book I have not read, but it's been in my bookshelf and it's been calling me. I'm just attracted to this book. I have the paperback version here. It's 300 pages, so not long, but it's a sweeping saga that stars 8 generations. So if I read from the back, it goes like this. Ghana, 18th century. 2 half-sisters, Efia and Essie, are born into different villages, each unaware of the other. One will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort in the palatial rooms of the notorious Cape Coast Castle. The other will be captured in a raid on her village, imprisoned in that very same castle, and shipped off to America to be sold into slavery. So at the beginning of the book, there is a family tree, and you see from the beginning, so from Effia and Essie, what the family tree going down. So it seems super interesting. I was watching a little video from Ya saying that she actually went to Ghana to bond with her, to meet with her family and research the novel, which actually was considered a best book of the year by many, including the Globe and Mail, the National Post, BBC, etc. I think that I have to sit down and read this very soon. And how, to me, what I love a story where you can see two different lives that really could have been, they could have been either the same, but in this case they split kind of in the middle, right? And one sister went through, possibly a very difficult life as a slave, and then the other one was living a comfortable life. Yaa Gyasi's second novel is called Transcendent Kingdom. It's you know what? I don't have the year here, but it's fairly recent, and it's also been praised, and I want to pick that up. All of the books I've just mentioned, you can definitely find at your local bookstore or library. And if you are curious right now of what I'm reading, I am finishing the novel called The Lying Game by British author Ruth Ware. And I believe Ruth is from England. Yes, I believe she is. And The Lying Game it's my first book by Ruth Ware, and it shouldn't have been. I should have read her before. But I'm finding that I'm just caught in that story of these four women. I won't tell you more. But interestingly enough, I guess Homegoing as well is a story of women. I do enjoy them. Obviously, The Lying Game is a very different type of story, more of a, I'm going to say, of a psychological drama. The list goes on, obviously, but there will be more features like these called On My Bookshelves of course, in the future. If you enjoyed this podcast today, please share. Tell your friends. There are now 20 episodes to listen to, and it's free. I will keep doing this for a while, I think. So enjoy, and don't forget to keep on turning some pages. Take care.